And well, you'll read it, right? So, the last name is Reifer, not Reefer.
Right. Okay.
Everybody says Reefer, and it's not Reefer.
Do you just read the,
Just read.
you just read February, whatever?
Yeah,
it
got
was
it.
like?
Yeah.
Okay. Date, February 14, 1995. Survivor, Louis Berman. Interviewer, Elke Reifer. City, Skokie. Country, USA. Language, English.
Can you please tell me your name?
In English, Louis Berman.
Can you spell it for me, please?
Speak a little louder.
Could you spell for me, please? Spell it, please.
Spell it Louis Berman.
Can you tell me your birthday?
July 17, 1923.
And what town were you born in?
Born in Rasein, Lithuania.
Can you spell
Rasein.
Is this, how long did you live there?
Until my age still around age of 5.
Do you remember anything about that town?
Yeah, I went to Cheder, I remember.
What was that like?
It was just a bench and kids sitting around the table. And the teacher smoked a lot of cigarettes. He smoked. It was kind of, he used to reprimand, pull in the ears, reprimand the kids. He was a good teacher.
What did you learn?
We learned prayer and Chumash. That's about all I remember.
Where did you go from there?
From there we moved to a different town in Shoah, Lithuania, Shoah. When I was around 5 and a half, I met. There, and I went to Talmud Torah, a Hebrew school, like Beis Sefer, they call it. It was 6 grades. I finished there. And then it was in 1940. The Russians came to Lithuania. I went to a trade school, learned electricity, art school.
Tell me the spelling of that town that you grew up in.
In Lithuanian?
Yeah.
It's Siaulliai.
And that's where you mostly grew up?
Grew up, yeah. Grew up.
So, tell me about the town.
Town was a population of about 30,000. Maybe 10,000 Jewish people. In before the Second World War.
Tell me about a typical day for you.
My what?
A regular day for you. How your day went and your family.
Well, it was okay. I grew up on a farm. And we had a flour mill, a cotton mill. Grew up on a farm, and I had bar mitzvah. I was 13. A little party in our house. I knew my haftarah by heart. I didn't have to look in the book.
What was your parsha?
Parsha was Nachamu Nachamu Ami from Dvorim Neschanan. Shabbos Nachmu. I was born. It's Tisha B'Av. Yeah, Tisha B'Av I was born. Haftarah was Nachamu Nachamu Ami. Parshas Dvorim Neschanan. I knew my haftarah by heart. I didn't have to look in the book. I remember it all by heart.
Tell me about the party.
We were about 10 people, just family, mostly a couple of friends in the house. There was no big real party, not big.
How many people were in your family?
My family was 4 kids, 3 sisters. I'm the only son, boy in the family. Yeah. We have another boy who was the oldest one. He died when he was 2 years old. You remember him. He died from typhoid fever. He was the oldest from all of us. So my 3 sisters and I are the family. My father passed away in the ghetto in 1943. He had double pneumonia in Shovel, in Cholet.
What did he do for a living?
He had a farmer and had a flour mill and a cotton mill. Life wasn't bad at that time. I grew up in a loving family.
Were you religious?
Yeah, I was religious at one time, yeah. Yeah, I go to shul, Yom Tovim, I go to shul, sure. My father was religious. My mother's family were 10 kids. That's what she told us. There were 10 kids in my mother's family. In Rasein, she grew up. My father was from a small town near Rasein. Small town, Vidukla. Not far from Rasein. He grew up in a farm. My father was a farmer. My grandfather was a farmer too. Grandfather.
Did you get together with everybody on the holidays before your family?
Yeah, in Europe, yeah. We did, yeah.
What do you remember about the holidays?
The holidays was everything was like, you knew it was a holiday at that time. Stores were closed, all the businesses, everything was closed. We knew it was in the air, we knew it was a holiday. We knew, yeah. It was a real holiday, we knew it.
Did you have a favorite one?
What?
Did you have a favorite holiday? Do you remember?
Pesach. Pesach. I have to tell in English, right?
Passover. What was it like?
What?
What was it like? Passover. What was that like for you?
Oh, Passover, the Seder, 2 Seders. Yeah, I remember. It was nice. Afrikaner. Yeah, we stayed up till late at night. It was a Seder. It was real beautiful, Pesach.
How many people were usually at the Seder?
Just our family, just the immediate family.
So what other schools were you going to now at this point?
I went to trade school, art. Then I went to art in Germany. I went after the war, Munich. I went to do the same thing.
You were in trade school to do what?
We were taking up electricity, electrical.
How old were you when you went to trade school?
In Shovel. It was 1940. I was 17.
How long did you go to trade school?
In Shovel. 1940. I went not quite a year. Not quite 1 year.
Did you keep Shabbos?
Yeah.
Want to tell me about how Shabbos
We
was?
used to go to shul, yeah. We used to walk. We used to walk 3 kilometers from our house to go to shul. In the winter, below 0, it's snow, very cold weather, Lithuania. We never rode on Shabbos. We used to walk.
What kind of meals did your mother make?
Mostly fish, chicken, some meat. Not chimas used to make, chicken soup, matzo balls. I'm doing good so far.
When did you first hear of trouble?
Trouble in 1941.
How old were you then?
I was 18.
What was the first incident that you knew that there was trouble, that the townspeople knew there was trouble?
When they started to build the ghetto. And we couldn't walk on the sidewalk, we had to walk on the street. We had to wear yellow Star Davids, one in the front, one in the back. So we couldn't walk on the sidewalk, we had to walk on the street. We weren't allowed to walk on the sidewalks. And then we built the ghetto. I think in June 41, the Germans came, and in July they came in 41. The ghetto, we came in end of August.
Did you
before.
try to leave it all? When
Try.
you first heard there was trouble, did your family try to go anywhere else?
No, no.
So
We went to stay together with the family. Stay together.
So the Germans came and they built this ghetto. What was the name of the ghetto?
And the ghetto was Kafkaz.
Can you spell it?
Kafkaz was K-A-V-K-A-Z. There was two ghettos. One was Traku, with a smaller ghetto. We were in the bigger one. Traku spelled T-R-A-K-U. The Traku ghetto was by the jail, a red building. The jail was. And the Kafkaz ghetto was by the Jewish cemetery. Usually they build the ghettos where the poorest section of the city. And people moved out of there and they put all the Jewish people in there.
When was that?
1941. They moved the people out, the Lithuanians moved out from the area and put the Jewish people in there. It was the poorest area of the town. Dilapidated buildings, old buildings.
You were together with your family.
Yeah.
So what was life like in the ghetto, a day in the
The
ghetto?
ghetto was terrible. Hunger, work, and taking people out and they never came back. You 6 elections, you go left, you go right. Elections. And other people, they never came back.
What did you do in the ghetto? Were you
I was working as electricity, working in the establishment, the German establishment, office buildings, airport I worked.
Were you allowed to leave the ghetto then?
What?
Were you allowed to leave the ghetto?
We used to work with guards, with guns. We couldn't be allowed to work by ourselves. We worked in groups. We worked in whole groups. In the morning and then coming back, same people. Working with guards. We couldn't be allowed to work ourselves to go to work. I worked at the airport for 6 kilometers. We used to walk every day. I was worked there for 6 months. I worked there.
And your family was there too? Your
family?
sisters?
My sisters didn't work there. My sisters worked different places. And in 1942, they shipped us to Radvilišika. It was it was a pit moss quarries for heating. We used to dig there. It was like 20 kilometers we traveled. When I camped there, it was labor camp. I worked there from April till around the end of August. It was cold. It was cold, it wasn't heated, the barracks. It was infested with lice and bed bugs.
This was I'm confused, this was a labor camp?
Yeah, labor.
You were in the ghetto. Let's go back to the ghetto.
From the ghetto, they shipped us out there.
How long were you in the ghetto?
Till 1944,
So you were there,
July 44.
so you were there for quite a number of years in the
Yeah.
ghetto.
Yeah.
So can you tell me more about the ghetto, more about your life in the ghetto?
Life in the ghetto was very bad. I had to go beg for food from people on the outside.
How'd you do that?
I used to sneak out from work and go to people, the new people there. Go to farmers. I used to go and bring food sometimes. And it was real risk. If they catch you, they used to shoot you. So I risked my life to help the family. I helped.
Did anybody help you? That were outside people kind to you at all?
Came to me.
Kind. Were they nice to you? Was anybody ever nice to you?
Some people, yeah. Some, yeah. Some were nice. Some were not.
Can you tell me more about that?
What?
Can you tell me more about that? People who were nice to you?
Yeah, some used to give me food once in a while. But before we went together, I left some real valuables. We left to some neighbor's house. And I wanted to get her, so one day I came out from work, I went to the neighbor. We wanted to get her ready. I told him I wanted my valuables back, I left with you. So the neighbor said, you don't need it no more. I said, why? They're going to kill you anyhow. What do you need it for? He didn't give me. He gave me back.
Were you still in the ghetto? Did you still have religious holidays and Shabbos and things?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Yes, sort of, yeah. We had to watch for the guards. In 1943, they surrounded the ghetto. Special troops came in there. We didn't know why. There's a lot of troops. Later found out because the uprising was a ghetto. So they put a lot of reinforcements they brought to our ghetto, surrounded the ghetto. Later on we found out was the uprising in Warsaw Ghetto. We found out later on. Then a couple of weeks later they left. They left regular guards. They left. And then in 1943, was 1943 they liquidated the big ghetto. They put us in the small ghetto, the Traco. And then they had they took the kids out and the kids and the older people. They came with trucks and I was at work. We were at work. And they came and they shipped them and they didn't know where. So the elders from the ghetto says, where are you taking those kids and the elder people? She wanted to know when they go with us. And they pushed them in the truck. His name was Brody. The last name, he was the head of the ghetto. The people their parents were crying. It was a terrible experience.
Were you separated then from your family?
No, we still were together.
You
Yeah.
were still together.
But my father died in Kafkaz ghetto. I was still there, but my mother was still in the other ghetto, Draco.
And your sisters?
And sisters too, yeah. Yeah, we're all together.
So how old were you now?
71.
How old were you there in the ghetto now at this time?
How old I was? In what year?
In 1943.
43. Let's see. 20 years old. I was 20. I was 20 years old.
Do you recall any other stories in the ghetto? Things that happened?
Yeah, a lot of stories. But I feel like I'm choked up. I can't talk too much. Man. Very difficult, very difficult, very difficult.
Take your time.
Very difficult. Told you the story when we used to work 7 days a week. Every other Sunday we were off. So a truck. One Sunday we were congregating by the gate, boys and girls. It was a nice day in October of 1943. And the truck pulled up by the gate, and the guards opened up the gate, and the truck pulled in with a German officer. And he pulled up by the warehouse where they keep the clothing and shoes, they keep different things. There was he was in charge of another camp where they used to dig lime quarries. There were about 200 people there. We used to came to pick up some stuff for the other people. So he asked for people to help to load up the truck. And people went to help load up the truck. The officer went up to me. He asked me to load up the truck to help. I said no. He asked me why. I said, this is my day off. He got really enraged. He pulled up a gun. He pulled out, he put to my head. He got really, his face really like murder in his eyes. He said, if you don't go, I'm going to spray your brains out, shoot you. So I went. I wasn't scared, but I went. I wasn't scared. I don't know why. So he didn't shoot for some reason. I don't know why. He could have. I could nothing do to him. It was another experience. Another time, when I worked at the airport, I used to work nights shift at one time. At that time, I still had 2 ghettos, 1941. So I was an electrician. I borrowed one of my pliers to a friend of my electrician. He was in the other ghetto. And I lived in Kafkaz, he lived in Traco ghetto. So I was walking with the whole group, walking back to the ghetto. I snuck out from the group and trying to walk to the other ghetto to see if I could go get my pliers back, electrical pliers. So I'm walking to the other ghetto. It was still dark outside, like twilight. It was still not light, but it wasn't dark, it's still like twilight. I'm walking by the gate, I see 2 guards with guns in the other ghetto. So I figured how I'm going to get in there. So I changed my mind. I'm walking back to the ghetto. There's nobody on the street. Empty, nobody on the street. I'm walking. I'm walking by gates, by the ghetto. 2 guards with guns. He asked me, who are you? So he raised your hands. And he pointed the guns on me. He pointed to see, what are you doing? So when I walked up closer, one recognized me. He knew me. He knew my parents. He was Lithuanian guards. So I told him, what are you doing walking by yourself? You're not supposed to. See, I know the other guy was cocking the gun already before I got closer to him. He says to me, what do you do? I told him what happened. I went to get my pliers. I borrowed some friend of mine. She says, what are you doing? He says, you're nuts. I said, you almost got shot. He says, go back home. He kicked me in my hands. Kicked me. They were ready to shoot already. 1941. I don't remember what month. I told him he remembered me too, this man. The other men we didn't know. The other men didn't know. But he knew my parents. He said they were good people, he told me. I had a lot of courage to do that.
Yes.
I know I'm not supposed to, but I did it.
Did you have a lot of friends?
Yeah, I got friends, yeah.
You get together with them?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. You got a lot of stories that my friends would tell too. I don't want to. It's kind of too difficult to talk. It's very heartbreaking to talk. You got to be made out of iron. You got to be made out.
Take your time. We're here to listen.
What?
Take your time.
Yeah. Right. When I look, a little blurred. Without the glass, a little blurred. Blurred.
Did you see your sisters all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, I see him, yeah.
time went on in the ghetto, it got worse and worse.
It got worse and worse, yeah. Got worse and worse every day. Then the food, they gave us horse meat at one time. Rations, small pieces, horse meat. People died from hunger every day. People died.
You had work every day?
Yeah,
Every day they...
used to work every day, yeah.
Did they feed you better because you were working?
No. No, same thing, like there's no exceptions. There's no exceptions.
Do you have any more stories from the ghetto that you...
Yeah, it's too difficult for me to talk. A lot of stories. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking. Very bad, very sad, very sad. You told people from the ghetto, you're taking them to work, and they never returned. They were murdered in Lithuania. A lot of people, they took them out from the ghetto in 1941. You told them you're taking them to work, jobs.
Where did they take them?
What?
Where did they take them?
You got killed. I don't know locations. I don't know. I don't know where.
Then what happened? You were still in the ghetto till... You were in the ghetto till what?
In 1944, they shipped us to Germany in cattle cars to Stutthof, the concentration camp,
You spell that?
in July 1944. I was there 2 days. We got separated from my mother and my sisters. They remained in that Stutthof. They shipped me out to Landsberg, in a labor camp. The camp was number 2. It was a part of Dachau. It was a long part of Dachau, that camp. So we came there in July 21st. And in July the 20 we came to Stutthof. We came there like end of July the 25th, I would say. I came there. And we took us in a pit, along the pit. An English plane, a jet flew over our head. A Spitfire, a plane. But they didn't bomb or didn't shoot. They saw us, the plane saw us, flew over us. The guards got scared. We weren't scared. We weren't scared.
So you're in Stutthof. Tell me about...
Stutthof was a horrible camp. They used to hit you wherever you went, you used to get hit. If you sit down, you get hit. If you stand up, you didn't let you for a minute free. They used to hit you all the time. It was the 2 days. Was like 2 years. It was a horrible experience. And, it was in Stutthof the day before they shipped us out. They put us on. They looked for people to take to work to Bavaria, to the other camp number 2. The commandant from the ghetto walked through, looked at the people in the face. They were lined up, appel they called it, lined up, and they looked at everybody's face. And I had a big, my cap was oversized. Oversized there, was hanging over like over my eyes. So he walked up to me. He said he didn't like my looks. He didn't like. He's debating to let me go to work or take me out or be killed. So he was standing there, looked at me, and finally he walked away. The only one, it was me. Nobody else, he stopped to look. It's like me. The other ones, he just looked and walked out. Looked and walked away. Looked, but me, he was debating. Standing and looked and looked. He didn't know what to decide. Eventually, he walked away. Actually, he thought, I thought something he was debating. He didn't know what to do. So I guess I wouldn't be here to tell the story. It was only me, he stopped. Nobody else. Because I had oversized cap. It was falling off on the way. It wasn't mine, it was somebody else. They gave us the same clothes. They gave us different clothes.
You didn't have any of your belongings with you at all?
No, they took everything away. Took everything away. They gave us uniforms with stripes. Stripes they gave us.
So you were only there for 2 days?
2 days, yeah.
Then what happened?
Then I went to, they shipped us to in Bavaria, Landsberg. Not town Landsberg, not far from Landsberg, camp number 2. There's different camps, different numbers they had. So we were there from July till before Christmas, in December. December they shipped us out to camp number 10. Camp number 2 was a horrible camp. It was Hungarian Jews they brought in from, we were there, but later on they brought Hungarian Jews. For some reason it didn't last long, they all died. Most of them died.
What did you do there in that
I
camp?
was doing electrical work. Yeah. You had to walk to work. To walk for miles and miles, you had to walk. And there were coppers there. The coppers were German civilians who they were in jail for murder. They took us out of jail, they were our bosses. They took care of us. They were on the guard, but were inside the camp. They were terrible people, those people. So, I was there, every morning was muddy, the appel, muddy. So we didn't have no stockings for us to get cold. So I took a piece from the blanket and cut off a piece with the blanket, a thin blanket, and ripped my feet instead of the stockings to keep warm. Ripped my feet. So some other people did it. So one day the guards used to come inspect the barracks. It was on the sun, they were laying like that. We saw people wrapped up with a blanket. We didn't see mine, he walked past by. In other barracks too, some people had it. Not too many, but some of them, because it was cold. So the officer reported to the Gestapo. And they came, we were on the job. We were working, they took those people out and they hung them. They claimed they destroyed German property, destroyed. I had the same thing, but me he didn't see, he walked right by, he didn't see mine. 3 people got hung, 3 or 4, they hung them. They claimed destroying government's property, destroying. 1944. 1944, maybe September, October, maybe, I would say. There's people who was hung, one was my town. I knew him. The other two I didn't know, the other two or three. I don't know.
Where were your sisters at this time?
Sisters were shipped went to Poland from Struthof. Went to a labor camp there. And my mother got perished there in Struthof. Perished in Struthof, 1944. I don't know what month, I don't know. And sisters went to labor camp in Poland. They worked there.
What did you have to eat?
To eat very little. She gave us a slice of bread in the morning. The coffee was ersatz coffee, made from burnt barley. And a little piece of margarine, one piece of bread. In the afternoon, sometimes he used to give us soup like water on the job. He used to come at night to stay in line for a piece of little soup. And the airplanes would fly over, they had to shut off the lights in the kitchen, and they couldn't serve us because until the alarm went off, sound alarm off. So we used to stay in the rain, we used to stay, soaked and wet. And then when they put on the kitchen, it used to be like 12 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock in the morning. It used to wake us up 4 in the morning again. It used to wake us up. But the barracks were infested with lice. Infested. Used to eat you up alive.
So you were in this camp for 6 months.
Yeah, in July and December, we left. December we moved to a different camp, number 10. Uting was the town name.
You spelled it?
U-T-I-N-G. Camp number 10. I was there till April, sometimes in April.
What'd you do there? Same.
Doing the same, electrician. Yeah. Doing over there. There we went from there to in April. Went to Dachau. They took us out, marched. We stayed there for 3 or 4 days in Dachau. Then took us out in a death march. It was the end of April, the beginning of middle of April. The whole, so I don't know if the whole camp. It took a lot of people. We marched with the dogs. They marched us. We marched for 10 days. No food. We drank water from streams.
Did you know why they were marching you?
No, we didn't know why.
You didn't know, and you didn't hear anything from the outside world?
No,
what was
we did
going
not.
on?
No, we didn't know nothing. We did nothing with the outside world.
So you were in Uting first for a while, in camp number 10, Uting. What was that like?
The camp was a little better than the other ones, but not too good either.
How was it better?
How about there? The guards wanted less bad because they knew already it's the end. They start to get mellow because they knew like the Germans are losing the war. So they changed the attitudes. They changed a little bit because they knew the war is be finished, but they didn't know when, but it's close, you know. So they weren't as bad because they changed their attitude. They changed. And we marched.
Tell me about Dachau. You were there for
I was there. I don't remember how many days. People were very bad.
What did you see there?
See a lot of starvation, people dying, people just get hit, and a lot of problems, a lot of sorrows, a lot of problems. But I kept my hope up. I never lost hope.
You never lost hope.
You know, I knew I'm going to survive. In my heart, I knew I'm going to survive. I never lost hope. The people who lost hope didn't survive.
So being an electrician helped you too.
Yeah. I was working. I was working all the time, yeah. But a lot of people who to work too, they perished. They got killed. There's nothing to do as electricians. This was fate. This was fate.
You didn't know what was happening with your sisters at this time.
No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know nothing. No.
So from Dachau, they started you on the march.
Went on a march to Tyrol. Tyrol spells Tyrol. It's a province in Germany where they're not far from the Alps, the mountains. So we marched till we came over there. We came over there, in a small town. In Warkirchen, was this little like a village. They put us in barns on the hay that day. So I went to sleep, went on the hay, we were tired, hungry, we didn't feel like we were numb. Put on this, and we slept on straw. On straw we slept. In barns. There was on a farm. So that night, the guards left, but we didn't know it. They left, the guards left us alone. And that night I had a dream, dark clouds in the sky. And all of a sudden, the clouds dissipated, blue sky, blue, gold. Woke up and I hear tanks rolling, tanks and trucks. So I look through the cracks, through the walls. I see trucks with white stars and white stars with jeeps. I didn't see no tanks. I see trucks rolling with jeeps. I didn't know what it was, so another fellow woke up and said, "Americans are here." Americans here, we couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe we were free. Yeah, then a lot of people, we came out with a lot of people. We went to the German family, a farmer. They gave us food to eat. A lot of people, they ate too much after the liberation, they died. Everyone used their stomachs was shrunk. They ate too much. Some of them died after liberation, a lot of people. I was lucky, I didn't eat too much, just a little bit. And they took us to a building in Bad Tölz, that same place in Tyrol, where there was the German Luftwaffe were there. They put us over there to recuperate operation. Americans were there, nurses and doctors were there. And they kept us. It was 2 weeks I couldn't move. I had stomach pains. I couldn't move. It was like 2 weeks in bed. was sick after that. I think I had enough for a while. I think.
They treated you well there.
Huh?
They treated you good there.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
How long were you there?
No, I'd say, well, then, yeah, a couple of, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then we went, then from there they took us to Munich, in a camp there, it used to be the Flakkers, and where they used to set up the guns to shoot on the planes. That's where the army was there, the German army. There was a headquarters there to shoot on the planes, where they called Flakkers, and they put us over there in some buildings. And we stayed there until, I don't remember what month, and in July, I think, we were there. Then they heard that people want to go look for families, so some people want to go back to Lithuania to look for there.
Did you go back to Lithuania?
Look for the families. They organized a group, Lithuanian Jews, and they took us to a truck, the American truck. Went to the Russian border, the German, it was the American zone. They took us to the Russian zone. From there was a city named Chemnitz, Chemintz. They took us in like tents, Russians there. And they told us we want to go back to Lithuania. We told the Russians. So we had to walk 60 kilometers to another city, Meissen. From there we caught a train on call. Call was 3 of other people went different ways, but we were 4 of us. We were together, one group. We got to Berlin. We were tired. We stopped. We asked for a place where they displaced people, displaced persons. He told us a place, so we had to walk. It was curfew that day. There still was curfew in Berlin. We walked until it got dark. It was curfew already. And 2 Russian soldiers stopped us. You're not allowed to walk. It's a curfew already. We told them who we were. They told them where we're going. We told them where we're going, so we went. He followed us. It was in the French sector, that area. As I came, the building where I came there, I had to ring the bell. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. The bell, they opened up the door, and the elder came out, told them where we are. And we stayed there, and the Russians left, soldiers. They left, but they followed us all the way to there. So they left. The next morning we got up, we met a lot of people, Hungarian Jews, the Polish Jews there, from Lithuania, were liberated Jew survivors too. So all my friends came out, 4 of us, and we were there. So then, the next couple of days we were there. Later I found out that this Jewish women were liberated by the Russians. They worked by the Russians there they were in stockyards. They were, with animals. They were working there. So I told my friend, let's go see you. They gave us an address. So we took a streetcar, take a buses from the French zone to the Russian zone. So we come close to the area there. We see Russian soldiers working, officers working. So we probably knew it was the right spot. We looked at the address, we looked at the building. We saw the right spot. So as we were approaching the building, a woman walks out from the building. And she looks at us. She says, "Are you Litvaks?" I says, "Yeah." She says, "I'm from Komnes." She says, I work here in the kitchen." But she says, I work in the kitchen here, I cook for the soldiers here, for the officers. She go up on the 2nd floor, and I'll bring me some food up. And then first she says, bring some food up. She says, She asked me, what tonic? I said, I come from travel. She says, you have, what's your name? I told my name, Berman. She said, you have 3 sisters? I said, yeah. She says, they're here. They're here. So I walked up, one of my sisters were there. And when she was talking about me, 2 other fellows were there. And I opened the door and I walked in. My other sisters were working on a farm there. She came to the dentist, I broke her teeth. So I walked in, opened the door, and she was answered my name. I think that's all I can talk. I think it's enough for me, I think.
Thank you. So you found your sisters.
Yeah, in Berlin. Then I went to my sister the next day. I went to meet up my other sisters. They were on a farm, taking care of cattle. We were milking them and cattle, and so I stayed there with them for a week. I told them I'd go back to Munich, but they had to need permission from the Russians to leave town, leave the job. So they were in charge of the company. Was a big officer. I don't know what his ranks was. Big officer. The last name was Marshak. He was Jewish. So me and my sister came, told him we're going to go back to Lithuania. I didn't want to tell him we're going back to the American zone, go back to Lithuania. So he says, okay. So he wrote us out some kind of permission, some papers. He wrote it out. So he says to me, come tomorrow in my office, and we'll talk. We came the next day, me and my sister, the one I met in the house there. My other sister was still on the farm there. We came back to the office in Berlin. We had to travel back like 20 kilometers from the farm. So we met this officer, Russian uniform, medals all over here. He says, we want to go to Lithuania. He says, no, I don't know where you're going. You're not going to Lithuania, he says. You're going back to American zone. He says, God bless you. He says, good luck. He gave us food, kind of food, and take it with us. He gave us, and he says, good luck, and we left. We went back to Berlin, and I packed up and went back to Munich. We came to a camp, DP camp, Feldafing, the name, not far from Munich. I stayed there from 45 to 49. I stayed there.
What did you do?
The electrician, working, yeah.
And your sisters were with you?
My sisters, yeah. My sister went to America. My aunt sponsored me, but my other sister, the one I met in the house, she came 3 weeks before me. She was sponsored from the Hayas. I lived in Brooklyn for 1 year, my aunt's house. My other 2 sisters came in 51 to America. Feel the thing, yeah. I was in America in 1949. I came to America. My other 2 sisters came in 51 from Feldafing.
Then you moved to Chicago?
I moved to Chicago in 1950. My sister was here before me in Chicago. The Hayas sent her to Chicago. And then my other sister, one sister came to New York from Feldafing. She stayed there about 6 months. Then I got her, brought her to Chicago. And the other sister who died came a little later.
Then you met your wife?
I met my wife in 1952. I got married in January of 53. January 53.
Tell me about your children.
Yeah, I got 3 children, a son and 2 girls.
What are their names?
Mark, Linda, and Ava.
Grandchildren?
I have 5 grandchildren. 3 of my son and 2 of my one daughter.
Now they'll know your story.
Huh?
Now they'll know your story.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So what is this a picture of? Who
Yes,
are these people in the picture?
Those are my 3 sisters. I'm the third from the left. This is my older sister Etta, and the other sister Leah, and that's me. That's my youngest sister Judith. She passed away in 1967. She had crippling arthritis and she had a hemorrhage. She died in right before Yom Kippur, 1967.
How did you get this picture?
This picture was, they sent us a little snapshot from South Africa. My aunts migrated to South Africa, my uncles, before the First World War. And because we lost all the valuables, all the pictures, we lost everything. We went to the camps. So they sent a snapshot and we enlarged it. So they made it a large picture.
Can you tell me what this is?
Yeah, this is a Star of David. The German Jewish wore this, but we were similar, something, not exactly. We had to wear them in the front and in the back. We had to wear this. I got after the war in the DB camp in Feldafing. And we came there. Some person gave me that. It was in 1945, after the war, after the liberation.
And who are these people?
That's my parents. It was taken in Rasein, in Lithuania. This picture got sent from South Africa. My aunts and uncle sent me that. I enlarged it. They sent me like a postal card picture. We enlarged it. It's my parents.
And who's this?
This is my wife and I. It's a wedding picture.
Do you know the wedding date?
Yeah. January 11, 1953.
Okay, who is this handsome young man?
Mark, name. It was named after my father, Shalom.
When was he born?
1953, August 1953.
And who's this?
This is my daughter, Linda, her husband, Michael.
When was Linda born?
Linda was born June 11th, 1956.
And who's this?
This is my daughter, Ava, and her husband, Bruce.
And when was Ava born?
He was born March 26, 1960.
And who are these babies?
Well, these are my 3 grandchildren. My son, Mark. Mrs. Scotty, born February 14th. Today is his birthday. February 14th, 1980. Born on Valentine's Day. This is the other one is to the left. It's my granddaughter, Andy. She was born June the 6th, 1982. And the boy, Larry, in the middle, the youngest. He was born April 29, 1984. He's the youngest, Larry.
Very nice. And who's this?
This is my granddaughter, Lainey. She
Whose
was my-
daughter?
Linda's. My daughter, Linda's. She's 3 years old now. She was born in, what year? 3 years ago? November 30th, 1992. November 30th.
And who's the little baby?
It's my newborn granddaughter, Jamie, Linda's daughter. She was born January 23rd, 1995.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you introduce me to this lovely lady next to you?
Yeah, this is my lovely wife, Sandra.
How long have you been married?
We married for 2.5 years. We married, and we had our ups and downs. Times were bad, sometimes were real good. We had it. Different times was real good. Sometimes was lack of work. We had to struggle, but we managed somehow. And we had to raise a family. It was kind of difficult at one time. But thank God we made it.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.